Hello there. This is MD. Here with you on SaskiYano. Here we go again. We are in a new After Effects tutorial. In this tutorial, I'm gonna pick up right where I left off in the last tutorial. Talking about 2.5D. What I want to show you now is how to enable depth of field on this camera and do a basic camera animation. So let's jump back to the camera tool. By pressing C, I'm going to orbit this to kind of oriented right here. With the camera selected, I'm gonna press AA on the keyboard. Now, this is the one time that using the middle mouse button does not work to grab the handle for repositioning your composition. And in this case, you have to use the space bar. Pressing and holding the space bar will bring up the handle. To give this an extra 3D punch, let's turn on depth of field here under the camera options. Now at the default values, it's not going to look like much, but let's kick up the aperture to a value of 50. And let's turn the blur level up to 200. There's lots of other options to explore there, but let's leave it like that for now. Now let's come to the camera's position and press P, and then let's throw a keyframe down. I will come to like 4 seconds here. And they will modify the camera in some way. We can use the camera tool to do this. So I may just push the track camera tool in. You can hold shift to get a bigger movement there. Or you can use the position values here to move it. But you may find when you do that, things are looking for a little bit weird. That's because there may be an option on the camera that we need to disable. Sometimes it works when it's on. In this particular case, I'm gonna turn it off. So right click on the camera, come up to transform. At the bottom here, go into auto orient. And this is a feature that helps you to make sure the camera is looking where you want to look. Right now it's set oriented towards a point of interest. I want to turn this off. And we do. Things will probably shift around a little bit, but you can use your camera tool and get them back to where you want. Alright, let's see we have here. I'll just reposition this right about here. Bring the camera back a little bit. So with depth of field enabled. And this very basic animation. From here to here. What you're seeing is a really cool 3D effect. With basically just flat planes. Watch as I play this, what happens to the depth of field. Just like a real camera. If you don't change the focus and you move where objects are relative to the camera, they will go in and out of focus. They will not be in the one plane where the focus is. So, as this front layer comes towards the camera, or it's actually the camera is moving through the front layer, it goes out of focus. It's no longer in that depth of field. Or it's further out of that depth of field. And we get this really nice out of focus effect. We get the same thing happening, only in reverse to the middle layer. If you put this at 100%, and when you do, if you have the full resolution set right here, your playback will probably be a little bit slower. But at 100% and full resolution, you can see that the middle layer goes from being out of focus or out of that up the field and is slowly gets sharper and sharper. Until it's bang on in focus. In super duper sharp. Just gonna turn this shadow down a little bit. Because they're a little obnoxious, make it a little softer. But you can see with a little bit of experimentation and placing of objects, you can come up with some really cool animations. In this 3D environment, using objects that don't have any dimension. You take these objects and you turn them sideways. And I take this right. Bring up the rotation. And I rotate it on the Y eventually this layer. Will completely disappear. You can see for a second there. From the camera's perspective, this layer is gone. But even with that, we can make some really cool looking stuff. So that's basically how 2.5D works in After Effects. There are lots of other things you can explore. And do. You don't always need to use a light. I just wanted to show you that. Because it looks pretty cool. You don't always need to use depth of field to make this work. Then there are other ways you can get a 2.5D effect without actually using After Effects camera. Alright, we're gonna leave it there for now. Because it's time to move on to the next tutorial. You're gonna learn about motion tracking. Check that out. Bye. Finally, we are done for today. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and leave your comment down below in the comments section. Also, if you want to learn more, take a look at our first channel, Everything PS. See you next time. Bye.